Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have winter Dollar Tree DIYs for you. I put together 15 of my best winter DIYs, and I really hope you enjoy today's video. So to get started, we're going to use one of these little wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. I think it's the bicycle wheel wreath form. It's going to be perfect for what we want to do. And you're going to need 6 of these little white Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree. This is why I told you guys to stock up the other day. I was able to just find these at my Dollar Tree, but you might have to visit more than one store to get 6. It is important that they're white. Because what we're going to do with these is we're going to make a giant snowflake. So you're just going to need the tree part out of all of these. I'm going to go ahead and save all those stands because those are great stands. I'm sure I can use those for another DIY in the future. So we're going to make a 6-pointed snowflake. This is going to be pretty universal winter, this DIY. I do bring in a little coastal colors later on, but this would pretty much fit any decor. So we have all 6 of our little Christmas trees and our wreath form. Now, I'm just going to kind of put them together like this. And so I'll have to put a sign in the middle where there is no greenery. I didn't really want to overlap all the different poles into each other. I thought it would make it too bulky. So I kind of wanted everything to lay flat. I'm making a giant wall hanging for my front door. This would also be great on the front of your house or even your door. It actually turns out to be really large. So just using 3 zip ties, I zip tie that to one of the rungs of that wreath like that, sticking out in that direction. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. Now, I'm doing these kind of out of order because I want to do 6. So I should have skipped 1 and I skipped 2. So I'll realize that here in a minute. But I'm just zip tying 3 zip ties, just using clear zip ties so they'll kind of blend in. Now, if you're worried about like the color of the wreath form being visible, it isn't really, it's pretty much covered up, but you could always paint that white. So I got 3 on there. And I went to do the 4th one and I realized my mistake. I should have only skipped 1 instead of skipping 2. So I just took 1 off and I'm going to go ahead and fix that. Now I was just kind of seeing if that's going to cover the frame, and it did. So I should have skipped 1 like this. So I went ahead and took that one off and I'm moving it right here. And again, I zip tie like right at the base of the tree, all the way at the bottom, and then 1 like through the tree, which you kind of have to fish that through, zip tie, and tie that off on the back. And skipping 1, I do another one. That way there's 12 rungs on this thing, so we have 6, so we skip every other one. And we're going to have a giant, like a wreath snowflake. It turns out so cute. I really like this, and I was really impressed by the size. It looks great in my entryway. I actually took down the sign I had up for Christmas so I could actually go ahead and hang it to show y'all. So just finishing up the last few Christmas trees here. Once I get them all attached with zip ties, I do want to reinforce it just a little bit. So I'm going to flip it over here, and I was trying to think of something that could go right here in the middle. I decided a wood bead would fit perfectly, so I glue a wood bead down there so I have something to glue to, and I kind of glue the different trees to the wood bead just to provide a little bit more stability, doing some extra hot glue on top. Now all I have to do is open up all of these branches. I want it to be, flat on the back so it can hang on the wall, but I do kind of fluff it up. I do flatten it a little bit more than that to kind of give it more of that snowflake appearance. But I was just kind of trying to see if I could, open them up enough where you won't be able to see the frame, or if I need to go and paint that wreath form underneath. And it did cover it all up. You can't see the wreath form at all once I get it all open. And I will cover up all that center stuff that's going on with a Dollar Tree sign. So just fluffing all of these, like the very end is kind of long, so I had already pulled those out, but just pulling out all of the branches. And you can't beat a $1.25 Christmas tree. So it's filling in nicely. I kind of like overlap the different branches a little bit to make sure that it covers up that wreath form underneath. And this is what our giant snowflake looks like so far. Super cute. I thought about using this sign from the Dollar Tree. Aren't those cute? I just found that the other day. But I decided to do this one. I'm going to have this hanging in my entryway, so a hello sign would be perfect. And I picked this sign up at the Dollar Tree. I don't want that color, so we're going to go ahead and use some heat and a spatula from the Dollar Tree to remove that bow. And then I wanted to paint hello blue. I thought I would try this color. It's a Dollar Tree paint, and it's a pretty color of blue, but it was a little light. But let me show you how I'm doing it. I'm just doing it with a makeup sponge. I was trying to carefully, just paint that little top part, but I found like the hello word was so skinny, the depth of it, that I was still getting paint on my sign. So I was just using a baby wipe to try to remove some of that. And I did a couple coats, and I thought it was pretty. It's kind of an icy blue color, but I did want it to be a little bit more blue to go with some more of my decor. So I do add a little, this is lake blue to it, just to kind of bring out a little bit more blue. I just wanted it to be a little bit more contrast. And that looked pretty good. And I discovered if you don't push down on the sponge at all if you're going to paint with a sponge like that. Now for the ribbon, we're going to replace it with some of this blue snowflake ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And it had a simple bow on there before, and so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to tie a simple bow, try to make sure that the snowflakes are visible there. And I'm just going to cut the ends of the ribbon to size once I get it arranged. And then I'm just going to attach that where the old ribbon was. So just a dot of hot glue. And then I wanted to decorate the sign a little bit more. And so I went and got some of those white glitter stickers, snowflake stickers from the Dollar Tree. I think these are so pretty. You guys have seen me use them at other DIYs, Christmas DIYs, but you could also use those wood ones that they have at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use a couple different sizes on this. The bottom I have a little bit more space, so I'm going to use the largest one down here, and I'm just going to kind of stick that to the sign. It's covered in white glitter, so I don't have to paint it or anything. It's just going to be, a really easy way to bring winter touch to this little sign. On the sides, I have a little bit less room, so I'm going to use some of the smaller sides ones over here. And now we just need to make a hanger for our snowflake wreath. So I'm just going to use a little bit of twine and pick any side to be your top and just tie a simple knot. And we have a simple little hanger that will not be visible when we hang it. And here is our giant snowflake. And this covers it pretty much perfectly. So I'm just going to do hot glue all along the edges. And while that's still wet, I'm going to push that down onto the Christmas trees, pushing down so I get lots of connection there for the hot glue to get that to stay on. Now I'm just going to arrange my branches a little bit to make sure that I don't see any of that wreath form. And that's pretty much all there is to this giant snowflake DIY. This turned out so cute. Everybody in the family loves how it turned out. And this is definitely one of my most popular winter DIYs I've done so far here on my channel. I love it. It's huge. It took up like my entire entryway. I'm going to hang it again there this year. It pretty much takes up the entire wall above my console table when you first come in. But it was really fun to make and a fun idea to do a giant snowflake for winter. First, we're going to use 2 of these little signs from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make a tray. The second part, we're going to make a really beautiful vase arrangement for winter. Now, they have these, I know, in white, maybe black, and this wood color. I'm choosing the wood color because it kind of matches what's on the sides, and it's going to go with that warm stained wood finish that I'm going with today. But most of the top of the sign is going to be covered in snow anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter which ones you're going to get. But I just went ahead and glued them end to end. I just used hot glue. I'm going to have a couple other things that's going to kind of combine it together there. So I'm not really going to brace it or anything like that. I think it'll be okay. I just made sure to get it good and lined up and to glue it flat. Now I wanted to do like a border around the edge of the tray, and I love using these little cube wood beads from the Dollar Tree for that, just because they're going to sit flat when you go to do like a beaded edge. So it's going to take 2 strands of these. You could always do them with the round ones too if that's all you had, but I really like the look of the cube. So I usually try to use those if I can. And I want to stain them. They are natural wood. So I'm just going to take some Antique Wax by Waverly and a baby wipe, and then I'm just going to kind of try to stain these. I was trying to think if I should leave them all attached. I usually do when I'm working with a project like this, but one thing I noticed is when I went to stain them like this, they are like a cube shape, right? It's not really getting in between them where it kind of goes down on the sides, kind of like a dice shape. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to leave them all attached, but I just went ahead. I'm going to stain all 4 sides of our cubes like this. And the reason that I'm using a baby wipe is I don't want it to be a really dark stain. Sometimes Antique Wax by Waverly can get pretty dark. I'm kind of going for the same finish wood that tray is that we're going to make. So I just go ahead and stain them all this way. I do try a different technique on the second one, but this way was actually the easiest way to do it. So I went ahead and took them all off the string because I did realize, that they're not getting stained on the sides or in all the little corners this thing has. So I'm just going to have to go in with a baby wipe and little messy, but use some Antique Wax by Waverly and we can stain all of them. I was trying to avoid doing them one by one like this, but you know what? It does work the best. And I'm going to line all 4 sides of that tray with these little cube wood beads, and it turned out really cute. Just a matter of getting all these little guys stained. So I just go in and do both sides. They are kind of have holes in them, but if you get them all going the same way, you're not really going to see that except for a few pieces on the ends. So that's our first strand. And then I was thinking, I know when you're painting wood beads, it's sometimes easier just to put it in a cup or a bowl and just dip them all in there, right? So I was like, you know what? That'd probably be easier than I wouldn't have to go in with a baby wipe on each one of the little cubes. So I took a little water and some Antique Wax by Waverly, and I just going to grab all of those beads and pop them in there. What I noticed is it didn't really stain it as dark as I needed to. And then you're going to have really wet beads that you do have to kind of let dry. When you're using the baby wipe, you're really not getting them that wet. They dry really quickly. So even though I added more Antique Wax by Waverly a couple times, I really just couldn't get them stained as good this way. It must be because I had to add some water to that. But I tried that method. It didn't really work out as well as I'd hoped. But I'm just going to kind of take them all out now, drain them on a paper towel. And you can see, they did stain a little bit. They're just not going to quite match the ones that I've already done. If I hadn't already done the other half, I probably would have kind of left them like this. But I was like, you know what? They're going to require a little bit more stain. So that was my first attempt. And they did, again, get really wet where I did have to wait because they didn't really want to glue down or anything like that. So I just went back to my old tried and true method. I put some more Antique Wax by Waverly on a baby wipe and just went in and stained each one of those a little bit darker, just so they're going to match the other set of wood beads. And 2 strands was the perfect size for this tray, using 2 of those signs. I think I ended up with 2 wood beads left over in the end. So I've got them all stained. They're all fairly the same finish now, so we can start putting this together. Now, since I did take them off the string, I am going to have to kind of glue them on individually. I did think about stringing them back together for this part because it is easier when they're tied together. I've made projects similar to this where I've made the wood beads like be in the middle of trays and stuff like that. And it's so easy to string them and glue them when they're tied together. But I was like, I'll just do like half a sign at a time and do some hot glue and just lay them all on there. That way I can kind of space them out. And I'm going to have one be right there at the border between the 2 different signs. And that will kind of help hold it together a tiny bit. And glue these all the way over to the side. I did have to space them out a little bit just to make sure that they all fit, but we got one side done and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and start here on the other side, and I'm just going to repeat that same pattern, the same number of them, and just gluing a little bit at a time, trying to make sure that my hot glue was not setting up before I got them all covered. And I wanted to do just like a woodsy tray for this, and I couldn't really find anything that I wanted. So if you can't find it, you can just DIY it. So we have 2 edges done. And even though you see like that joint in there in the middle, once you get things on your tray, you're not going to be able to see that. And it actually just turned out really cute. For the sides, I went ahead and laid them out in advance so I know exactly how many would fit. And that was a total of 6. And so I'm just going to glue down 6 to each side, trying to kind of evenly space them. And again, I have like all of the holes like facing each other, kind of like they were still like lined up, so that all the pretty sides are the ones that you can see. Now, once I got those all glued on, I'm just going to go ahead and flip our tray over and just remove the tags here on the bottom. I thought since we have some leftover wood beads and they're cube shape, they'd make perfect little feet for this tray. At first, I wasn't going to do feet for it, but I'm glad that I did because this did kind of like perch it up a little bit and just made a perfect winter display for the vases that we're getting ready to do. So I'm just going to hot glue one in each corner right over here, not quite all the way to the edge, but pretty close. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. And then since I have 2 signs together, I thought it'd be a good idea and extra sturdy to put a foot in the middle on the front and the back too. And that'll be another little thing helping to hold that all together. But it seems like it's pretty sturdy. I don't think I have anything to worry about. And there's our little tray. I think it turned out so cute. I'm not going to do any handles or anything on the side. I don't think it really needs anything. And then these are the vases that I got. They're little frosted bottles with corks. And I picked these up at Dollar Tree. I thought these were really cool. If you can't find them, you can frost your own glass. And we are going to be doing that today because I think it looks extra wintry having the frosted glass. And so if you can't find them, it's pretty easy to kind of recreate these. But they're a nice small size bottle. I'm not really going to need the corks on them. But I thought 3 of them would be really pretty on this tray. We could line them all up right next to each other and then put some Dollar Tree florals inside to make it look nice and wintry. Isn't that texture really cool? So let's go ahead and get started on these. I was thinking I can just kind of glue them all down or push them all down into like snow or something like that in the tray. And I want to be able to reuse the tray. So I'm just going to kind of put them all in the snow. And then this is the eucalyptus that I got at Dollar Tree. I got a total of 5. I really wanted 6, but I could only find 5. So we're going to make it work, even though I have 3 of the vases. So I thought I could do like one entire piece in each one, and then we'll kind of break up the other ones and kind of split them around. Now for the filler here in our little frosted jars, I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree white sand. I think that makes a great sand or snow substitute. I'm completely out of the Dollar Tree snow. And so I was trying to find other things to make snow with today, and I found some really great things to do that with. So I already had some here in a baggie from a previous DIY. So I found these little craft funnels at the Dollar Tree, and I use them all the time for sand and projects like this. But you can always just cut a corner off the bag like I did there and pretty much do the same thing, but it does make keeping your work surface a little bit cleaner. And I'm just going to fill each one of the vases up about a third of the way. I didn't want to take too much away from the frosting. I wanted you to be able to see that, but I wanted enough of the sand that I could use it to arrange the flowers in, or the eucalyptus. So I lined them all up side by side so we could kind of keep the amount of sand even on those. And then we can go ahead and start taking the tags off of all this sparkly eucalyptus. I love these. They have these every year at Dollar Tree. They're white. They have glitter on them. I think they look really nice and icy for winter. And they're just about the perfect height. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm trying to pick out my very best ones to be the main piece in each one. And then the other ones we can kind of cut up and fill in. So that's what it looks like with one. You probably could get away with one if you needed to. And I'm just using my little floral scissors from the Dollar Tree and trimming these all down as long as I can get them. And I probably could have done with a little bit more sand in my jars, but we're going to make it work. So I just start taking them individually and kind of filling them in. These pieces are going to be a little bit shorter, just going to kind of help fill everything out. And I kind of compare them to each other, and I'm trying to create about the same fullness in each one of the vases. And I end up using every single one of them. And I love these. Aren't these so pretty? They're definitely one of my favorite florals they have for winter time at the Dollar Tree. Now that looks pretty good. We can go ahead and start putting the little tray together. I wanted to kind of just stack them side by side in there, but I also want it to look snowy and wintry. So that's why we're also going to add some faux snow. Now, I thought about gluing them down, but then I wanted to reuse the tray, so I decided just to sit them all in there, just like that. But I wanted to sit them in there first before I added the snow. That way they're nice and flat against the bottom of the tray. Now, I had heard that Epsom salt makes great snow, so I just have some Epsom salt that I stole from the medicine cabinet, and we're going to use that for DIYs today, and this made fabulous snow. I loved it. So I just put a little cup in my Epsom salt there so I could kind of scoop it out, pour it in the tray exactly where I wanted, and I'm just going to fill up the entire tray with the Epsom salt for our faux snow. That way I have the contrast of that stained wood against the white snow. We're going to have the frosted vases that are going to look like they're very cold. And then the icy white glittery eucalyptus looks like it's covered in ice. Then I thought I kind of wanted to add a snowflake touch. So I got some ornaments from the Dollar Tree. One is a 2-pack, one is a 10-pack. Now they're about the same size. I guess the 2-packs are a little bit better quality. But I want my snowflakes to be different, so I'm going to mix and match. I'm going to use one of the 2-pack and 2 of the 10-pack. And I thought I could do one of the little white glitter snowflakes for each one of the vases. I was trying to decide if I should tie it onto the bottle. And then I decided I would just tack them with glue onto the sides of the bottle. This one ornament, the one that came in the 2-pack, does have a hole. So I did want to fill that in, and it was actually pretty easy. I just put a little hot glue and some extra Epsom salt in there, and it filled up really nicely. The other 2 snowflakes didn't really have an obvious hole that I needed to fill, so that was a little bit of a time saver. And they're pretty lightweight little ornaments from the Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to do a little hot glue right in the center, and then just tack them onto the side of our frosted glass. And I'm really glad that I decided to add the snowflakes to this, because it took it from pretty to wow pretty, and quite a statement piece for winter. And I love this because I can leave it up all winter, because it's always so sad when you take down all your Christmas decorations and you still want some winter decor. So I just did that on all 3 of them, just glued them to the front, and this is how it turned out. Our little winter vases with the white glitter eucalyptus. We have little white glitter snowflakes on the front of each one, and a bed of Epsom salt snow on a DIY tray. Isn't that tray so cute? I thought it looked very like rustic or farmhouse, and I really had fun putting that one together. If you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, let's do another Dollar Tree winter DIY. This one's going to be a Dollar Tree sign, and we're going to kind of do that same theme of white, glitter, wood, and stuff like that. So the wood round from the Dollar Tree, I'm just going to stain it the same finish that we stained the wood beads. I'm just going to do Antique Wax by Waverly, not too much, and then just spread that out with a baby wipe to give me that nice medium stain. And you can see that beautiful wood grain coming out of the wood. So easy to do, and just very rustic and charming. I'm not going to frame it or border it or anything like that because the snowflake we're going to put on the front of it is nice and thick. So together it really made a nice piece. So it did kind of want to bow a little bit though because it was really wet and it's really thin. I can kind of fix that when I add the snowflakes, but I did go ahead and just put something heavy on it to help flatten that out. Now the snowflake is made out of MDF, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill the hanger hole in it with some spackle, and then we can start painting this. Now, probably the easiest way to paint this would be like with white spray paint because it's thick and there's lots of like holes, as you can see, and pattern going on here. But it was pouring rain and I did have to go outside and do some spray painting in this episode, and it was a battle. But I'm just going to do it with white acrylic, and I just trying to work in one direction, and I was using my chunky brush from the Dollar Tree, and those are great for distressing, not so great for a project like this. I found that I kept just losing like bristles out of my brush. That's so frustrating. But I was trying to get as good a coverage as I can. The MDF I find a little bit harder to paint than like the raw wood projects. It's going to soak up your paint and take more. So that's how it looked after one coat. And I'm going in with a second coat. I don't mind if some of the brown shows through a little bit to kind of give it a distressed feel to the snowflake. But I want it to be mostly white if I can get it white. The trouble with this project was just all the little places where, you know, the white could drip, the white paint. And I don't really mind it being kind of distressed on the sides. I just didn't want any obvious like drips anywhere where you're going to be able to see it. And as you can see, I did have to go in even with a third coat to get good coverage. That's why I was saying spray paint might be easier. But you know what? I don't know if I've ever spray painted an MDF project. It would probably work. Now, this is the next item. I wanted my white glitter and I couldn't find it, so I went to the store to get white glitter, and of course they didn't have any. But Dollar General had some of this iridescent glitter paint, and so I thought I might as well try it because they were completely out of glitter. And so I went all over it with a coat of it. It did make it a little bit glittery, a little bit sparkly, but you're just not getting very much bang for your buck in there. So I did have to go over with another coat, trying to spread it all over to try to make it glisten as much as I could get it. And I still wasn't happy with that, so I went over it with another one. And I'll probably find my white glitter. That's the only color I couldn't find, you know, as soon as I'm done with this project, of course. Then I decided I kind of wanted some texture to my snowflake too, to make it look like it was covered in snow. So I'm just going to paint some school glue all over the front of it and then go in with some of the Dollar Tree white sand again, this time to kind of give it a texture of like snow. I really want this to kind of be a special snowflake we're going to add to the sign. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle the white sand all over my school glue. And I did like that kind of gave me the texture that I was missing from not having like, you know, real powdered glitter. But then it wasn't very sparkly, so I did go over that with another coat of my iridescent glitter. This stuff was only $1 at Dollar General. It worked okay. I wish it could be a little bit more sparkly, but we're gonna make it work. But I think I'm happy with it at this point, so we can start putting this together. I'm just gonna use some twine from the Dollar Tree and make my own hanger. Just kind of string it from the back, knot it in the front, and do the same thing here on the other side. And you know, these wood rounds aren't my favorite because they're thin, but whenever you kind of layer signs like this from the Dollar Tree together, you can definitely make a more substantial sign, and that's what we're going to do. It ended up being plenty thick in the end. I kind of want it to be like straight up and down on there like that, and it's just a matter of gluing it on. I just put hot glue on all of like the straight lines going across and try to get it on there as fast as I can before any of my hot glue starts to set up. And as you can see, it fits on there just perfectly. So you have that nice rustic stained wood background. We have a white glittery textured snowflake on the front, and it turned out pretty special. Now, a lot of times I like to do like a bow or something on the plain hanger, but I didn't really want to go frilly. So I decided to use a little bit more of the snow greenery from the Dollar Tree. I picked up 2 of these little pieces, and I thought I could have one go down each side of the handle, but I do want it to look snowy because, you know, that's our snowy winter theme today. So I'm going to take some of that white acrylic and the chunky brush, and I'm just going to dust my leaves to kind of give it that little bit more of a snowy feel. It's really easy to kind of flock stuff with just white paint. You can get a very similar look. And once I got those on there, it's just a matter of attaching those to the little hanger. And I'm glad I added this because it did add a fun little touch. So I just cut down a couple pieces of twine. That way I can tie it on each side. I just went from the back, and at first I thought there was a hole in them, but there really isn't. I'm just going to tie them tight and then go around to the back, tie them again. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. And this did add a little bit of fun to the hanger and just give another little texture and touch to this project. Once I got them on there, I kind of tied them to each other just again to make it a little bit stable, get that V shape on my hanger, and then just trim off the excess jute twine. And we have another winter DIY complete. I think this one turned out really pretty. I would have preferred the glitter, but we did get some shimmer with that iridescent glitter, and I do like the texture that the white sand added to it. As you can see in this picture, that just the sand really added just so much detail, but by having all that texture on that, it just kind of made it extra special, I think. So what do you guys think about my little snowflake sign DIY? Be sure to let me know your favorite DIY in the comments below. It really does help my videos, and I love hearing from you guys. Okay, the next DIY, you guys know I love these wood slice signs from the Dollar Tree. I usually never use them as signs. I usually make stuff with them, and that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just using my pliers and carefully removing the hanger. You got to be real careful with those little staples on the sides. Sometimes they will take the bark off, so you got to be really gentle. And I thought we could make this like oval shape into a little candle holder that we could make like a winter theme. So I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree wood stems to make like 4 little legs. And we're going to do like a frosted candle, frosted reindeer kind of thing. And it turned out so cute. Now it's just a matter of finding, 4 of the wood stems that are the same height and aren't too big. I kind of wanted more skinny because this was kind of a skinny tray, but I was able to find 4 that I think are going to work. So I'm just going to attach those to the bottom of my wood slice with a little dot of hot glue on each one. And we have a cute little rustic candle holder. Now I did notice that it wasn't super level, so to kind of get around that, I just put a dot of hot glue on the bottom of one of the legs. That wasn't quite as long as the other ones like I thought, and I'm going to let that dry, and that kind of helped the tippy problem. Now this is a little clear acrylic reindeer from Dollar Tree, and I thought I would take some of the frosted glass spray paint by Rust-Oleum, and I will link that in my Amazon shop. I think you can get it at Walmart as well. I'll try to link that. And I had to go read online to see if I could use that on acrylic, and it said that you could because I couldn't really read anything besides glass on the bottle. But I'm going to go ahead and frost the reindeer and frost the candle to make these look extra, wintry. I think that's going to give a nice frozen feel. So let's do the reindeer first. This one was a little bit of a challenge because not only was it pouring down rain outside, it was also blowing wind. But I decided to get the reindeer like downwind, and I'm on my porch trying not to get rained on, and I was able to get it, but just barely. Now let's go ahead and take the candle, the glass candle. It's already white, but I thought it would look really pretty too if we frosted it as well, and it'd make it coordinate well with the reindeer. So I took it outside and gave that a spray as well. The glue is set up on this. It's a little bit more stable now. I think it's going to work. I want it to be as stable as I can since I'm putting a candle on it. I don't really want it to be that light wood though, so I'm going to give it a light stain as well using some antique wax by Waverly and a baby wipe. And we're going to stain this too. I want to kind of get a medium wood vibe on this as well. As you can see, it was really sucking up the antique wax by Waverly stain though, so I did have to do quite a bit of wiping and drying to kind of get this a little bit more even. But I wanted any areas that don't have snow on them to kind of look that rustic wood color, not the light color that was on the top of it. Just another detail to kind of make all these projects coordinate well together. Now I had to kind of hurry on these, so I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit here with my heat gun, but I was really impressed. When you're spraying it on, you can't really see the frosted as much as you can after, but as you can see, just one coat of that frost on there really made a big impact. Now, when I was doing the candle holder, I had a huge gust of wind come in and it fell over, so I kind of messed up one side of it. But you know what? We're going to make it work with a little bit of crafting. So I just take some school glue and I'm going to just put that all along the edges of my candle. And we're going to make it look like we got snow or like icicles coming down, and just kind of rim it like you do like a margarita in salt. I put that right into my Epsom salt and just kind of push that around. I do have the faux snow coming down the one side where I kind of damaged it a little bit. And we totally made it work, and you have no idea. Besides the fact that I told you guys. And I think that looks really well. And it's a frosted candle, and then it's got the snow on it. I think that makes it look super wintry. So I'm going to start by just putting some hot glue on the bottom of each one of the reindeer hooves so I can kind of glue that on so that really kind of stays in place. I don't really want to glue down the candle though because I want to be able to replace that. Those are the little Dollar Tree candles, and a votive's not going to last super long. I just take my school glue and I cover about 2/3 of the base of it with that, and then I'm just going to go in there with the Epsom salt again, and we're going to make this look like kind of like wet snow on the ground. And I found the combination of the school glue and the Epsom salt, and then some of this spray adhesive from the Dollar Tree really made it look slushy and snowy. And then I can just go ahead and lay my snowy candle right on top of the little snowbank. And this looks so wintry and fun. Here is the little frosted reindeer. We have the frosted candle with the snow all over it. And then we even have some snow still on the ground of our little wood slice candle holder. I love crafting with those. We're going to use another one of those a little later on. And let's show it all lit up. I love a cozy candle for winter. Nothing better. And the great thing about this is it kind of lights up the little frosted reindeer next to it. I got this great wood sign at the Dollar Tree Plus for $3, and I thought we could make a really fun Hello Winter sign using some letters from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the little galvanized metal letters for hello. Just because they're smaller, I wanted a little variety. And then I'm going to use their larger wood letters for winter. So to do the hello, I don't really want it to be galvanized metal. That's not really going to go with the vibe today. So I'm just going to take a couple pieces of painter's tape and just kind of sit those on there so that we can paint and stain those. Now, as you can see, I did not have another E for winter, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that. I'm going to put a couple letters together. I did want the hello to be white first, so I have some white spray paint, so I'm going to go outside and give that a quick spray, because sometimes the galvanized metal letters can be a little hard to paint, so I thought if I spray painted it first, that would help, and it actually really did. Now, these are our wood letters spelling out winter. I love these. You get a whole alphabet in the package at Dollar Tree, but I always run out of vowels. And so I'm going to take this F, trim it up, and then take a Z, which I'm not going to use very often, cut the little piece off of that. Then we can put them together like that, and we're going to have an E. And you know what? You can't even tell. So that's one way. I wish they would kind of sell vowels, though, because I have so many of these, and I did not have one E. Then I'm going to stain it that medium wood color, by using just a little bit of antique wax by Waverly, and kind of wipe that to the side with a baby wipe to kind of give me that medium wood stain. I want it to look very rustic up against the white sign. And I like those signs from Dollar Tree Plus because they're a nice pallet sign. They're already painted white. They have a hanger, so it's kind of a time saver, even though they're a little bit more expensive. And I went ahead and did that with all of my letters there, spelling out the word winter. I also want the word hello to look like wood too, so we're going to try that as well. And again, this was $3, the little sign from the Dollar Tree, and it's already white, so it's perfect. We can just go ahead and start attaching our letters. I'm going to go ahead and do the wood ones first. They're fairly large. I think it's going to take up pretty much the entire center row to spell out winter. And I just kind of start on one side. When I laid them out earlier, it looked like it was going to pretty much take the whole space. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the back and then just try to space them out the best that I can, trying to keep them like kind of equal distance apart from each other. And I thought about, I was going to like break out my Cricut or something like that to do the word hello. And then I remembered that I had the smaller galvanized letter. So I just wanted a little variety between the two different letters. And this is how I make my F and E. It was actually pretty easy. And I'm just going to kind of make that look like, the grain of the wood. See, you can't even tell. And R. So I want to do hello on the top, winter in the middle, and then we could do snowflakes everywhere else. Now this is the one that I painted white. So now I can go in with that antique wax by Waverly and just drag that across the white. It's going to give me a faux wood grain. I don't want to work with it too much because I don't want to scrape any of the paint off the metal letters, but it actually worked pretty well. It's not exactly the same as, it's staining the wood ones, but it's close enough. So I'm going to carefully just start peeling those off my painter's tape, and then we can go ahead and glue those on. They are kind of tiny, so just a little tiny bit of hot glue on the back of these, trying not to use too much that you're going to be able to see it when I put it on there, and I don't really want it all oozing out like that. And I just kind of lined it up to the left like I did winter, but of course these are a lot smaller, so it's only going to fill up part of the board. And I'm going to do that all the way across, trying to clean up any excess hot glue as I go. And we do finally have our Christmas tree up. As many of you guys know, my husband got sick on Thanksgiving, and he gave it to me and my son, and I was so sick. I am finally feeling human. My son is home from college. I was so excited. He helped me get in the attic. We got the Christmas tree up. We have it lit. So we're halfway there, and I'm so excited. And I've got my Christmas decorations all out and up, and it really feels like Christmas. It's so fun. Now for the snowflakes. The only thing I could really find small enough to fit were these little wooden snowflakes from the Dollar Tree. And I thought we could kind of scatter those around on the sign, kind of like filling it up, kind of make it look like it is snowing. Kind of thought maybe up, down, like especially there on the bottom. And I thought about staining them too to kind of make them have like that wood stain like Hello has in winter. But since they're snowflakes, I really wanted them to be like white and snowy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of give them the same finish that we did on a snowflake earlier. So I'm just using a little makeup sponge from Dollar Tree and some white acrylic paint. These things are so easy to paint. I really wish that they were different snowflakes, but that's okay. We're going to make them work. They're just the right size. And then once I got them all dry, I'm going to go in with some of that iridescent glitter like we did before so we can make these little snowflakes sparkle. And it was just a matter of not getting too much in like the little holes here in the middle. The Cricut Weeder came in handy for that, but I'm going to go ahead and do that on all of them, make them as sparkly as I can for winter. And this is the only kind of snow, that we allow down here in Florida is my faux snow. I got my snowflakes. We're going to add some faux snow to the sign. We don't do the real stuff here where I live. And I'm very thankful for that. We are traveling to the Midwest for Christmas, though. But unfortunately, the weather is going to be too warm. So no chance of seeing snow. My son really thought that we would have a white Christmas. And I'm like, in Missouri, white Christmases are not that common. I am growing up there. I mean, I think we used to get maybe a little bit more than they get anymore, but it just doesn't seem to happen too often. And so I just kind of hot glue those, kind of stagger those on the bottom of the sign. And then for the top, my camera died, but all you missed was I just put a little bit of the school glue up here in the corner. And then I took some Epsom salt and sprinkled that on top. Then I sprayed it with some more of the glue and a little bit more Epsom salt. And as you can see, it's kind of like dripping down on the corner, like just a glob of snow is stuck to the sign, kind of like you would have in winter. So I'm going to give that a quick dry with my heat gun to make sure everything's going to stay in place. And I'm going to kind of touch it up. This one area here, I thought it needed just a little bit more. And again, the school glue works great for the Epsom salt. Even though you think it's like a big coarse thing to attach to a sign like this, it was actually really easy to attach. And that kind of gave me a winter vibe to the top of our Hello Winter sign. We have the snowflakes on the bottom. And I think this turned out really rustic and cute. So here it is, our little Hello Winter sign. Another fun winter Dollar Tree DIY for you today. I had so much white paint on my hands after all of these projects, but I really am glad that I went with the white, the wood, the neutral colors. This is going to go great with my coastal decor. I can really use it in any room of my house, and it's going to make everything look so cozy and warm for winter with all these fun DIYs. Isn't that so cute? Okay, the next DIY, I got this glass at the Dollar Tree. Look at these beautiful, like, white, glittery, frosted snowflakes on it. I thought I could make this into something besides just a glass. So I'm just going to peel the sticker off the bottom. And I thought I could make it look like a small, candle holder. And I kind of wanted a wood base for it to make it a little bit more substantial. So I got one of the chunky wood circle hanging decor from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. And I thought that would make the perfect base for it. Since it's round, it's just about the right size. And I'm going to give it that same stain that I've been giving everything else. So just adding a little bit of Antique Wax by Waverly and a baby wipe, and we can kind of stain this on here. I know it does have a hole in it, but we're going to be adding lots of stuff to this anyway, so we're going to be able to cover that up. And you will be able to see the sides of this, so I'm going to go ahead and stain that with the Antique Wax by Waverly and my baby wipe all the way around, just kind of spreading that around. You're not going to be able to see the bottom, so I'm not really going to do that. But I thought we could make a really easy winter candle with this using some of those little emergency candles from the Dollar Tree. I love those. They're white and they burn for 6 hours. They're really pretty. And I got that all dried out. Now we can go ahead and start putting this little candle holder together. Now I wanted to stay put since it is going to have a candle on it. So I'm going to put hot glue around the base of the glass and then just kind of center that on the little wood riser that we made for it. I kind of used a lot of hot glue because I really kind of wanted to make this stick as well as I could. I don't want it tipping over, and that's one reason I'm adding the base is to make it a little bit more strong. And then I'm going to kind of cover the base of it with a little bit of snow too to go with the wood. So I just kind of go around with some of the school glue, and I can kind of spread that around with just a paintbrush to kind of give a snowy base to this. Some of the wood will show through and you'll still have the wood on the side, but I wanted to use the Epsom salt to kind of make it look like a slushy, a snowy pile around the candle. And that's also going to cover up the little hole that we had in the little wood ring. And I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the spray glue to make sure it's down and sprinkle a little bit more snow around it to make it a little bit crunchier and thicker. And out of anything that I've tried, the faux snow from the Dollar Tree and Target Dollar Spot and stuff like that, the Epsom salt definitely has made the best snow out of anything that I've ever tried. It's perfect. Now we can go ahead and put it together. I thought, while I don't have anything in it, let's go ahead and frost the top of it too to make it extra wintry. So I just took some more school glue and a paintbrush, and I just went all around the edges just like that. And then we can go ahead and dip that in the Epsom salt like we did before, kind of like you're, rimming a margarita. Just kind of circle it into the salt, and look at that. Made it extra frosty and cool, but you definitely have to do it now before you start putting this together. Now to fill it up, I'm just using some more of the white sand from Dollar Tree. I don't want to fill it too full, just long enough to hold a candle, but not really cover up that beautiful snowflake design. And then this is one of the little emergency candles from the Dollar Tree. And I just stick that little white candle down in the white sand. And we have a super easy little winter candle. I think it's so cute. This is how it looks. We have like the snow around the rim. The snowflakes are all like white glittery. You have like the snowy feel of the white sand. And then you have that snowy base with the Epsom salt. So lots of snow going on here, but also a little bit of warmth from the wood. So let's go ahead and light this candle up too and see how it looks. And it's really beautiful. It lights up that beautiful like snowflake design. Look how pretty that turned out. Okay, next DIY. You guys know I'm obsessed with these little light up glass bottles they have at Dollar Tree right now. Every time I see them in the clear, I try to pick them up because they're fantastic. They have a cork that has the battery inside, and it has like the LED lights. Isn't that so cool? So I thought we can make this look simple and wintry by just adding a few touches. Now, I don't normally mind the color of the cork, but today we were going for white and snowy. So I thought, you know what, we could probably paint it. So I thought the least invasive way to do it would just be to spray it with some white spray paint. And I'm going to take it outside and give it a quick spray. I just covered up the lights themselves with some masking tape so they wouldn't get any paint on them. And just gave it one coat of white just to kind of brighten that part of the DIY up a little bit. And it didn't seem to interfere with the switch or the battery or anything like that. That's what I was afraid of for painting it. But I think we can make that work. Now, I wanted to look like a little winter tree inside, and I found this like winter greenery at Dollar Tree that kind of looks like, I think it looks like trees with like snow stuck to them, which is what I'm kind of going for. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut one of these off to form a little tree. And it's a little bit longer than I need, but I can always kind of shorten this to size. And this is the glass bottle. You guys have seen me in a couple different videos use these already. I love them. And I'm going to fill it up with some white sand again using my funnel. I'm only going to do it deep enough for me to be able to put the base of my like tree in, so it'll look like a little snowy tree in snow. So about a third of the way, I think. And then I kind of measure the greenery to see if it's going to fit, and I definitely need to trim this down. So I'm just going in. Most of this is plastic. You can trim it easily. There's one strand of it that's kind of wire. So I had to kind of switch back and forth there with my scissors. But I thought I could kind of just put it down inside like that and stand it up in the sand. And then we can also, we're going to have the lights. to light it up as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and untape them now. We can start putting this together. This is really easy to do, and it looks completely different than the other ones that I've done before. I've made a gingerbread house one for Christmas. I've made Scandinavian ones for Christmas too that were really pretty. So we're just going to go ahead and unwind these lights. You don't get a lot of lights, but enough for a bottle this size. And then I'm going to start just putting those down inside the bottle. And then I can put my little tree down inside. Now I did that and then I was like, you know what? I don't think it's quite thick enough. I think I actually need 2 branches to make it look thicker, to kind of make it more like a tree. So I'm going to go ahead and cut and trim down another one. And then I'm going to put them kind of together as one larger piece, and that definitely helped fill it up a little bit more. And then we can kind of scatter the lights out on each side. So I just kind of wired them to each other so I could kind of put them all in there together. It's a little tricky trying to get them to stand up in the sand exactly where you want when you can really only access it from the top. But anytime you're going to add like something kind of squishy like greenery, you can definitely put it down inside the bottle. I used a skewer to help me kind of get it exactly where I wanted. And then I can finish putting in my little LED lights, kind of wrapping them around the sides and putting my white cork in the top of the bottle. It's looking super wintry. It's kind of like a snow globe too, because you can kind of shake it with the white sand in there. And then I decided I want a little snow on this one as well. I probably should have done this before I put it all together, but oh well. I'm going to take some more school glue and I want to just put that along the sides, kind of dripping down into like little icicles to make it look extra frosty and wintry here at the top. A little bit lower in some areas than others, just to kind of make it look random. And then I can just put that down into the Epsom salt again, giving it a nice snowy touch on the top of the bottle as well. So we've got snow inside it, we've got the snowy tree, we've got snow on the bottle, and then we have the white cork. I thought about frosting this bottle with my frosting spray, but I wasn't sure if the lights would really light up through the frosting, but it's worth a try. I might have to try that on one of my other ones. So this is how it turned out. I think it's looking really cool. I went ahead and sprayed it with a little bit more of that spray adhesive to make that snow look extra crunchy there at the top and make sure that it's going to stay in place. And I love the little switch to turn the lights on and off is on the very back of that cork. And I'm kind of glad that I painted the cork because it made it blend in with the white snow that we added to the top. And then we have our little snowy tree inside, and we also have the lights. We have the white sand for snow as well. And this is how it looks all lit up. Isn't that so cozy and fun for winter? Now the next DIY is the easiest thing ever. I picked up a white candlestick from the Dollar Tree, and they had these great flocked pine cones at the Dollar Tree as well. The flocking on these is wonderful, and it's a nice, really large pine cone, so I thought this would be perfect on display for winter. You're getting that same wood vibe from the pine cone, right? But then you have the white snow on it, you have the white candle holder, and I'm just going to kind of pair them together like that to make a beautiful snowy pine cone display. This had a pretty flat bottom, so I'm just going to go ahead and put some hot glue on that. Lay that up against the white candle holder and just hold that in place until my hot glue sets up. Not going to add anything else to this DIY. It was so easy to put together. My son said this was his favorite one. And I'm like, oh, thank you. That was easy. Thank you. But I agree. I think it looks really cool. And the flocking that they did on the pine cone was pretty impressive. But if you only had a plain one, like a big one like that, you could probably get away with Epsom salt to kind of get a similar result, or just white paint. Isn't that so fun for winter and so simple to put together? Couldn't be any easier than that. 2 items from the Dollar Tree and a little hot glue. Okay, check out this candle that I got at the Dollar Tree. It is a snowflake like laying on its back. It's white, it's iridescent, it's absolutely beautiful. So I thought we could make a beautiful little candle, another winter candle for this using a couple items from the Dollar Tree. Check that out. Isn't that so beautiful? I saw that and I knew I had to have it. So I wanted to kind of go with the wood slice effect on this one again. And so this is another one of the wood slice signs from the Dollar Tree from Crafter Square. This is kind of the round one, but it's kind of like an odd shape, which I kind of like. So I'm just going to carefully remove the hanger from that one. And then I want it to be up on a little pedestal tray. So I'm actually going to take one of these little glass candle holders from the Dollar Tree and that frosted glass spray that I got from Rust-Oleum. And I'm going to go outside and frost this to kind of give it that frosted look that we've been using today. And it was pretty easy to do. I did one coat and brought it right back in and given it a quick dry. And I have a beautiful like frosted base for this. I thought the contrast between the frosted glass base and the wood slice holder and then that iridescent white snowflake is all going to go really well together. It's also going to go really well with all the other DIYs that we made today. So again, I don't really want this to be that light wood color. So just like before with the other wood slice, I'm just using some antique wax by Waverly and a baby wipe just to make that warmer wood vibe on this for the base of my little candlestick. Gonna leave it raw on the other side where I'm going to be attaching it to that candlestick. And then I also kind of want to make it a little snowy too. I know I frosted it, but I also thought we can kind of make it look snowy. And I'm going to kind of rim the bottom on this one just by using school glue around the edges, kind of spreading that out kind of randomly. And then we can dip that in the Epsom salt. It's going to add another little snowy touch to this project. I told you I loved the Epsom salt for snow. You can tell I really loved it because I used it on a ton of projects today. And that gave me a little snowy base. So not only is it frosted, it's snowy as well, which is going to add to the winter vibes on this little candle holder. And I wasn't sure if hot glue was going to be strong enough for this one. So I'm going to pop out some E6000 for this one and put it along the glass candlestick before I put the wood on there. And hopefully it's going to make this project a little stronger. So I just kind of center the wood slice on there, carefully like flip that over. I kind of needed some short-term hold too until it dried, so I just went around with hot glue there on the outside and glued them together, and it definitely stayed together better that way. So we can flip it back over and we can decorate it. I did have a staple I was able to remove there. Again, you have to be really careful with those because it will split the bark sometimes. For a little added stability, I glue my candle down so it doesn't like move around right there in the center. And then I want it to be frosty and snowy up here as well. So I thought in between the different arms of the snowflake, I would put a little bit more school glue and a little bit more Epsom salt and just kind of have a little bit of snow like the snowflakes kind of sitting in a pile of snow. Now, the Epsom salt can be a little messy. I used one of those little cutting boards from the Dollar Tree on all these today and definitely helped make cleanup a little bit easier. Just kind of like working with sand. You're going to get it everywhere. And so I did that in between each little ray of the little snowflake. And it doesn't really have to be even. I kind of want it random, kind of cleaning up some of the excess Epsom salt with a dry paintbrush. And look how pretty that candle is. And I think I made a really pretty candle holder to go with it and display it. Isn't that so cute? Definitely goes with our neutral winter vibe that we've been doing today. And a little remnant of snow up there on the candle holder. And then, of course, some snow along the base of the frosted candle holder. It's kind of hard to show you that and get it all in one picture. But I think the candle is the star of the show. Isn't that so pretty? It's so pretty I don't even want to burn it. But you know what? I will, just for you guys. We'll go ahead and light this up and show you how beautiful it looks lit up. Isn't that so cozy? I love a good winter candle. Okay, our next DIY, I'm going to use this great piece of driftwood that I found at the beach the other day. If you're not lucky enough to be able to find any driftwood in your backyard, you could always use any kind of a log or fallen wood that you have in your yard. And we're going to make like a snowflake mobile to hang on the wall using this driftwood. So I wanted different sizes and shapes of snowflakes. So I got some of these hanging snowflakes from the Dollar Tree, and I noticed they had 2 different patterns. So I'm going to use like 2 of that pattern and then 2 of this pattern. Notice how this one's like more square shaped, and these are my large snowflakes. And then for the rest, I'm going to use the little ornament ones that they also have at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to kind of just stagger those out. I want them to look like they're kind of cascading or falling down my wall. And then I want to use the smaller snowflakes kind of like scattered in between, just kind of trying to arrange those. I'm going to do a total of 8. So 4 rows of 2, I guess. And I'm just using a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree and some white acrylic paint. It's a great, easy way to paint these thin wood pieces from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to go over all of them. I just want to hang them down. I'm going to use twine from the Dollar Tree to do it. If you didn't want to be able to see the string, you could always use like fishing line or something like that. That would make it kind of disappear a little bit. But I like twine pieces. A lot of times I have like seashells hanging from these in my house. And so this time it's going to be some snowflakes for winter DIY. So we got those all painted white. I do want them to look a little distressed beachy to match my coastal farmhouse decor. So using a little antique wax by Waverly and a brush from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to very lightly distress these, kind of working in one direction, just to kind of give them a little bit more of a rustic coastal feel or vibe, wiping off any excess with a baby wipe. Now, this is the twine I'm going to use. I tried to put this in a needle, but it was a little bit too big. But this is the thinner twine from the Dollar Tree. So we're going to start here at the bottom. The smaller ornaments only have a hole in the top, and the bigger ones have it on the top and the bottom. So I can go through the top and the bottom, stringing the string along the back on those. But I kind of just have to go in from the back on the other ones, and we'll just make that work. And I'm tying that off to our driftwood. Now I'm going to kind of measure just to kind of have some uniformity. I'm going down about 5 inches for the first little snowflake. And I'm going to hot glue that twine to the back so it stays in place. Instead of knotting it, I thought maybe it would hang better if I kind of try to do it a little bit flatter. And then I'm going to go down about 2 inches on the twine for the next ornament. And I'm also going to just secure that with a little bit of hot glue. That one stays in place a lot better because it has like the hole on the top and the bottom. And then I'm just going to keep working my way down until I get to the bottom, about 2 inches between each piece. Now on the very bottom one, I'm just going to tie it off here in the front and kind of let that one dangle down. Now we're going to do the same thing here on the other side, starting on the bottom, going through the front, going through the back of this piece, and just kind of fishing it through. And I thought this would be really fun. What I want to do with this piece is combine like coastal with my driftwood, and you'll see a little bit more, and then my snowflakes. This one, I'm going to move this one up about 4 inches, just so they're a little bit different heights. And then I'm going to do 2 inches between each one over here too, securing those with hot glue to the twine. I thought about adding seashells to the snowflakes as well, but I decided against it. I thought it might be a little too much, but you totally could. And then I'm going to tie off the bottom one as well. And this is really cute. You could paint both sides white if you had someplace to hang this where it can kind of dangle down and be visible on both sides. Now, I wanted to decorate that driftwood. I just couldn't leave it. So first, I'm going to go ahead and put like a little sawtooth hanger that I had and just kind of nail that into the back so we have a hanger for the driftwood. And then I see a lot of people do like succulent garden kind of stuff on driftwood. So I thought maybe we could give our best little Dollar Tree attempt. But I also want to mix in some winter. So I'm going to mix in some pine cones from the Dollar Tree as well. I think I got those pine cones from the Dollar Tree. It may have been the Dollar Spot at Target. But I'm going to use one of these like blue succulents from the Dollar Tree. And I think it goes kind of cool with pine cones. Very similar shapes. But to first start, we're going to use some Spanish moss from the Dollar Tree. And I kind of want to just line the top of the driftwood with the Spanish moss. So just kind of cutting off a piece. Stuff can be a little messy. And hot gluing that to the top. And I'm going to kind of go over almost all the way to the edge with the Spanish moss. I thought that would give us a great place to start building like this little succulent garden on here. I think it's going to be a fun contrast, the like beachy succulents with the pine cones. So I'm just going to glue a pine cone over here, kind of angled off to the side like it's kind of like sitting up there. And attach that with hot glue. Trying to stand it up so it will glue on properly without falling off. And then I'm going to do the little blue succulent over here. At first I was going to use 2 of those blue succulents, but I end up only using 1. So I'm going to do another pine cone. I'm going to attach it right over here, kind of leaving a little bit of an opening there because I want to add some seashells to this project. And then I was trying to decide what succulent to use for the last one. I thought about the grass, but it was a little bit tall. So I do go in with a little smaller succulent that I have from the Dollar Tree and glue that on. I always save these after I use them for things because there's so many DIY projects you can use a little succulent plants from the Dollar Tree for. So we have those all secure. And now we can start adding some seashells. These are just seashells from the Dollar Tree. I'm trying to pick out some interesting ones like cone-shaped things that would be like kind of attached to a old piece of driftwood. Trying to make this look really fun and beachy. And then I thought I would kind of stand this one up here in the back just to give it a little bit of height. Like that. Super cute. And then maybe another seashell over here somewhere. I end up doing it all the way at the end. This is kind of a bluer green seashell. Very cute, like cone shell. And I really like how this turned out. I really like mixing the different themes together. The coastal theme with the winter theme. I think it turned out really fun. So this is what it looks like at this point. Now, the only thing, it does have the pine cones, but I was thinking it needed to be a little bit more wintry. So I thought I would use just some white acrylic and one of these chunky brushes from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to kind of make everything look like it has like a little layer of snow on it. Even the succulents, the pine cones, the seashells, everything. And I thought that definitely gave it like kind of a fun winter vibe. I'm even going to do the driftwood as well. Just dotting that on like a thin layer of snow. And I think that really gave it the final like little winter touch that I was going for. I'm going to do it all along the front as well. This piece of driftwood was a little bit dark, so that is brightening it up a little bit. And I think that is the perfect final touch to our little snowmobile. I'm going to show you what this looks like hanging on my wall. I have kind of like a little crooked wall in my entryway, and I always like to put something special there, and this looks really cool. It was so easy to make with those little wood ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and definitely a fun DIY to incorporate those. So let me give you a little look of how this one turned out. Isn't that so cute and fun? I wanted to make like a wood stick tree. I like to use like trees after Christmas, you know, as long as you use the right colors, you know, it's going to go great with your winter decor as long as you're not putting ornaments on them or you don't really have any red. And so I'm using just a foam cone from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cover it in masking tape. The reason I'm covering it in masking tape is because I'm going to be using a lot of hot glue on this DIY. And anytime I'm going to hot glue to that foam, it's going to melt and sizzle. And if you put the masking tape down, you can glue it to that, and you're not going to have quite that chemical and heat reaction on that. So that's what I did. And then I just wanted to use some of these wood stems from the Dollar Tree. And I wanted to make like a wood stem Christmas tree. I've never seen anybody do one of these, and I thought it would be really cute. So I'm going to start out here on the bottom and just start gluing a twig down. As you can see, there's many different shapes and sizes of those twigs. But usually when they put the wood stems together, they give you like kind of like sizes and lengths together in one bag. And I did have one bag of like really skinny that had opened there, but I'm going to kind of, piece it together. I'm trying to use like different colors, shapes, and sizes as I glue these all the way around. And I want to kind of build this like I have built like the driftwood tree and stuff like that in the past, where, I do a row like this and then I'm going to overlap. Now, I did kind of struggle having enough to cover it with that one bag of skinny ones, but I did have a few more skinny ones that I was able to work it in. But I love these. I've been stockpiling these because I'm not used to my Dollar Tree carrying these, and they've been having them a lot lately, and I haven't really made a lot of stuff with them yet. So I was excited to use them for this project. And this is a little bit like driftwood as well, where you're kind of putting it together like a puzzle, trying to find out which piece would fit. And this is how my first row looks. And it's okay that some of them are longer than the others, because then we're going to go back and start overlapping with this layer. Just overlapping a little bit. So to do that, I'm just doing like a dot of hot glue on the cone and a dot of hot glue where I think it's going to go on the next row. And then I'm just going to keep building, trying to keep like in a row, but it definitely doesn't have to be even. I kind of like the imperfect look of this. And if you have little gaps like that, you can always fill it in with little tiny pieces like that or little broken pieces. And just keep working our way around. And you can see that I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, like different depths, different colors of the wood when I can. And it's just going to make it look more, more fun. So some of the pieces are like curved. Those don't work very well. I kind of really wanted to go with just the straight ones. And there is our second layer. I'm trying to find the perfect piece to fill in the last gap. And that's what it looks like at this point. Out of all of my DIYs today, this one definitely took the longest. But man, it turned out so nice and beautiful and so high end. I can't believe I made it with just a couple of dollars. Basically, I made it with one bag of these wood stems from the Dollar Tree and one of those wood cones. So like I spent like maybe $2.50. And so what a great deal, because this would have cost so much more if you were to buy this in a home decor store. Now I'm working on my third row. If you start going, kind of sideways, you can kind of straighten it out, kind of put a smaller piece in between to kind of fill the gap, because I really don't want any of the cone to be visible. So if I can fill in the holes the best I can, I definitely do. And just finishing up this row, I basically want to cover up all of the tape that you can see, all of the foam. And so we can go up to a point. So just starting another row, it's going to start getting easier here because there's less to go around. But again, trying to fill up any gaps and providing a nice little overlap there as we build. I would like to take this moment to thank you so much for watching today's video. If you wouldn't mind, I would love it if you hit the like button. It definitely helps my YouTube algorithm. And after you're done watching, be sure to comment your favorite DIY below or just reach out to say hello, because all those YouTube things are always going to help our channel here at Crafty Beach. And I'm trying to get to 11,000 subscribers, and we are so, so close by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed, over half of you guys are not subscribed. Please do it, because it does help you find my videos and it helps me here on YouTube as well. I know I put in, I sent out an SOS the other day that YouTube was really not showing my content very much, and they did send me a message about that, saying less people were clicking on my videos, and when they were clicking on my videos, they weren't watching them as long. So I would really appreciate your support, because if YouTube is not recommending my content, to people, then people aren't going to see it and it's really going to hurt the channel. So I would appreciate any views that I could get from you, and I always appreciate all of your support. So as you can see, we've built all the way up to the top of the tree, but I still have like the top part. So I thought I would use just like one of the bigger diameter pieces of wood, kind of glue that to the top because it doesn't go all the way to a point. And that's going to kind of give me a point where I can glue pieces to go from what I have and connect it to that top part. Just trying to finish it off the best that I can. And I just have a little bit left here to cover. And I was kind of running out of pieces at this point, but we did it. We made it all the way here to the end. And so I think it looks really cute like this, and this would look really cute rustic and stuff. But I am going to paint it to make it look even more wintry. I am just trying to get all the strings of hot glue off of there with my heat gun. And this is what our great little wood stem tree looks like at this point. This would be a great Christmas decoration as well, but I love the fact that you could leave it out all winter. Now I'm using a chunky brush and just some white acrylic, and you can see I'm just kind of making it look like there's a little bit of snow, just a little dusting of snow all over, kind of where snow would accumulate on this tree. And this is going to give it that wintry vibe that I'm really wanting to go with for my winter decor. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way to the bottom. This also brightens it up quite a bit too, because a lot of that wood was kind of a darker brown. But it definitely added a lot more character to the piece.
So that's pretty much all there is to it. We have a little snowy wood stem Christmas tree. I absolutely love how this turned out. I'm going to display mine on my console table in my entryway, and I'm going to pair it together with some other like rustic Christmas trees that I have or that I've DIY'd. But it was really fun to make. Kind of another option. I know I've done a driftwood kind of option of this, but this is a Dollar Tree wood stem version of the tree. And it doesn't have to be a Christmas tree. It can just be a winter tree.
Okay, the next DIY, I wanted to make a fun like decor piece, but also a fun piece. So I'm going to use one of these jars from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make kind of a snow globe. It's going to be a waterless snow globe, something really easy, but I like the size of this jar. I think it's really pretty. It's got a really pretty silver lid, so I'm just making sure that I get the tag off the bottom, and then we can start building this super easy snow globe. This was so easy to put together, and it turned out so cute, and it's really fun because it's a decor piece that you can play with and not mess it up at all. And so I wanted to decorate inside, so I'm going to use a couple of these little white bottle brush trees that I have left over from Christmas from the Dollar Tree, and one of these little wood snowmen. It's just the right size. I got that at the Target Dollar Spot in a 2-pack with another snowman that I used for a previous DIY. And it's just raw wood, so we're going to paint it. I'm just going to use some white acrylic to paint the snowman part white. I really liked these, but all the ones that I've used from the Target Dollar Spot, I've like just kind of painted them. So I kind of wish they would have actually painted them instead of just leaving them natural wood, because I just couldn't really find a use for them in their natural state. But I guess they'd be pretty stained and stuff too. But I want this to look like a white snowman, just traditional. So I'm also going to use black for his hat. So just using some little brushes from the Dollar Tree and some black acrylic, we're just going to go in and paint his hat black as carefully as I can, trying not to get any on him. But of course I did. So I'm just going to wipe that off. Now he doesn't really have a carrot nose. He kind of has just a ball for a nose. And I'm going to kind of keep him simple like he is. But I do want his nose to be orange, even though it's not a carrot. I'm just going to paint that like pumpkin orange color, just to kind of make it look more traditional. I'm not going to do buttons or eyes or anything like that. I'm just going to leave it like that. I think that's going to be fine. And now we just need to attach our little Christmas trees and our snowman to the bottom of this, because we're going to have it upside down to make like a giant snow globe. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to arrange it. I think it looks cute like this, with like a snowman over on the side and the two trees kind of together. And so I'm just going to attach that to our lid with hot glue. And I was looking for a jar to do this. I think this one is definitely the perfect size I was looking for. And this is how it looks when they are hot glued down. Now, I need to fill the jar with snow. So that's the next step. I'm going to use some of this faux snow. It's like the little styrofoam ball snow. Definitely messy. Almost every bag at the Dollar Tree had a hole in the bag, I noticed. So you might have to pick some of these up. But I used a half a bag, dumped it in there, and then I'm going to see if that's enough by screwing the lid back on. You don't want to put too much in there for sure. You want to be able to see the snowman in the trees. And that was the perfect amount of snow. It covers up the bases of everything. It's nice and fun to play with. And it actually doesn't get stuck in the bottle brush trees. I was worried about that, like when you shake it. Now to finish off the top, I thought it would be fun to do like a snowball on top. And I got these little snowballs at the Dollar Tree. But you could use any kind of white pom-pom or any kind of white fluffy ball like this for the top. Or even a wood bead would be cute too. And I'm just going to secure the little snowball to the top just to kind of cover up the number and stuff that was on the top of the jar and make it look a little bit more finished. And there it is, our super easy snowman snow globe, waterless snow globe, I guess. And it's really fun because it's a cute little winter decor piece. And you can leave it out all winter long and you can play with it as well. Okay, our next DIY, I'm going to use one of these little plastic snowflake ornaments from the Dollar Tree and one of these great new signs I found at the Crafter Square in Dollar Tree. Isn't it cute? It's like a wood plank circle. It's got a frame and a wood bead hanger. It's so cute. I love it. It's such an easy DIY. And look how perfectly the snowflake fits on there. If you don't have any of these plastic ones left over, you can't find them, you could always use the wood snowflakes as well, but this one was the perfect size. I'm going to kind of do a turquoise and white on this one. And I really thought this ornament looked like coral. So I thought if we painted it, we could make it really look like coral. And it kind of looks more like coral than the coral ornaments that I made. It really does. This takes away all the plastic shine, and I'm using a brush so I can make sure to get down in all the different individual parts of the snowflake, and it takes away all the glitter shine as well. That acrylic paint really covered it up, and I just mixed turquoise and white together for that color. I think this turned out so pretty, and this is going to be such an easy winter decor piece. I'm going to go ahead and fill the hole where the hanger was with hot glue and kind of touch that up with paint. Because I didn't really think about that. I don't really want it to have a hole in it. I think that would be kind of obvious. And so now that it's all painted and filled in, we can attach it to our sign. I love these signs. I picked up a couple of these at one of my bigger Dollar Trees that I was at the other day. I was really tickled to find them. And I'm just going to use some hot glue to attach our little snowflake. You could always put like a wood block behind it, kind of make it look more 3D if you wanted. But I'm going to kind of just glue it flat to the piece like that. And it's looking super cute as is. I did want to add like just a little something to it though. So I am going to add a bow. And I'm going to make that out of some of this ribbon that I get at Dollar Tree. I would love working with this. I always think it looks like a little bit like fishing net. So I think it always goes great with my coastal projects. And even though this isn't a coastal project, it's just a snowflake, I think it really looks coastal. Now they have like an odd number of beads at the top. So I'm going to kind of tie it off to the side here, just using a piece of twine and tying it on the string they already have on there. And it's just going to provide a super easy little bow. Now I was trying to arrange it on there a little bit. I thought it was a little bit too long. So you can always shorten it. You can't make it longer, right? So I do go in and trim this up just a little bit shorter. And then I wanted to finish it off with one more thing. And I decided one of these little seashells. These come in the little bottles from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to glue a seashell there. And that's going to kind of substitute for a bead to make it have an even number of beads so that I can hang that kind of evenly on a nail. I like to have an even number of wood beads on there. I think it makes it hang easier. And it's kind of attached to the back, so you kind of have to take it apart to take a bead off of it. But this is how it turned out. Our little coral coastal snowflake sign. I think it's so pretty. And this is how it turned out. You can see that like beautiful texture on that cheap ornament. It looks really high end.
And I really love the color scheme on this one. That blue color on the snowflake, I think it just really makes it special. It looks so much better than it does with like the clear plastic, the way that it comes.
This DIY, I wanted to make another tree, another winter tree, and I'm going to use 2 of these little microfiber mop heads from the Dollar Tree and a party hat. I like to use these party hats from the Dollar Tree because I find they're pretty readily available to make trees. You could always do it out of cardboard and make your own shape. I'm just going to try to get all this tinsel stuff off of it first, so kind of get it out of my way. And I'm going to kind of use this as is. If you wanted a skinnier, taller tree, you could take it apart and wind it tighter and glue it to itself, and you could have a skinnier tree, but I'm going to go in with a kind of a fat, chunky tree on this. I'm not going to use the whole thing, but I'm going to use most of it for this DIY. I'm just going to cover it with this microfiber mop head. I thought we could make, I've been seeing like the white fuzzy Christmas trees, and I thought I could definitely make something like that with these mop heads for sure. I don't normally like cutting them too much, but I think we can use most of them intact. So I'm going to kind of do it like this, wind it around by doing it straight at the top, like that. I'm going to glue straight up and down the piece sideways, trying to make sure that I cover the very tip because I don't want any of that color showing through from the party hat, and wrap it all the way around like this. On this piece, I'm going to go ahead and put some hot glue on the hat and the mop head and pull it around in a spiral. You can always kind of push on the inside of your party hat as well, but be careful that it's really hot even through the party hat. So we got our first one attached. That's what it looks like at this point. It looks kind of crazy, but we're going to fill the rest of that in. Well, most of it with our second little mop head. This DIY was definitely easy to put together, and it looks so cute. So I'm just going to start where I stopped with the next mop head like that, and I'm going to continue the spiral pattern all the way around. Now, I just measured to see how long it was going to need to be because I want all of it to be covered with fluff. And this is about as tall as I can make it. So I'm just going to cut it as size. And I'm using the part of the hat that I'm cutting away as kind of a stencil of how to cut that, because you do kind of have to cut it, you know, at an arc. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way around. And I'm going to do this before I put our second mop head on there. I think it's going to be easier to cut kind of one mop head at a time here. I'm going to switch to my sharp fabric scissors so I can cut through all that fluff that I'd already glued down to that part of the hat. And now we just have a shorter hat. The reason I cut it at that point is so I would know exactly how big I could make it. And now we can start where we stopped, and we're going to start one mop head, just pair it up where the other one stopped. They are kind of rounded on the edges, so you kind of have to work in that little area to make sure that it's all fluffed up and you can't see any of that party hat behind it. And then we're going to continue gluing this down in a spiral pattern around our tree, making sure that's secure. You can always push inside the hat and all the way down here until we do our final little corner of the hat. We will have some excess fabric here. And you can kind of see at this point where I got the height. That's how far it is going down there on the shorter side of the mop head. And just trying to make sure that final piece is glued and secure. And then all we have to do is cut off the excess fabric. So not too much cutting of this fabric because it does kind of like to shed and make a mess when you cut it. So I'm just trying to cut it in one strip there with my fabric scissors. Try not to make too much of a mess, but be prepared. It will shed a little bit down there at the bottom. And just trimming that off. You're also going to need to kind of fluff it up there at the bottom, kind of see any pieces that need to be trimmed off, but you can kind of use some of it to fill in any gaps as well. As you saw me just gluing some back up in there. but just trimming off any longer pieces that might be obvious. And this is just a really easy, fluffy white tree, perfect for winter. And I'm just fluffing it out, making sure that all of it's covered and it looks really nice. And I'm not going to decorate or anything like that. I just want a nice white snowy tree. I think I'm going to display this with some of those little white deer from the Dollar Tree. I think it's going to be really pretty together for winter. You could always put it on a skewer or dowel and make it like a standing one, but I'm just going to have it straight on my table like this, just a white fluffy Christmas tree.
And I actually ended up pairing this with the wood stem Christmas tree too. What a great contrast together, and you can't have too many of these trees around. I love decorating with them for Christmas and for winter.
Okay, next DIY, I wanted to make just a really fun winter sign. So I'm going to use 2 of these plain wood hanging signs from the Dollar Tree to kind of make a bigger sign. Whenever you piece the Dollar Tree signs together, you can always make a more substantial piece. And I love the fact that these are like raw wood and I can do anything to them. Super easy to paint. The only thing I don't like about them is they're that Dollar Tree thin still. And you got to be really careful that they're not too bowed. I'm going to do the open holes, one on each end, to kind of make them look like boards. And I kind of want this to look like like a pallet sign. And so to do that, I'm just going to use some craft sticks, some popsicle sticks from the Dollar Tree. And leaving a little space in between, I'm going to sandwich these together with popsicle sticks, just attaching the popsicle sticks with hot glue to the back. And it was a little bowed, so I'm going to go ahead and use 5 to try to fix that problem and get it as straight as I can. And we have a really inexpensive little sign here that we can decorate. Now, I wanted to do this like a beachy blue too, but I'm going to kind of mix it up. This time we're going to do turquoise and white together, just kind of mixing my own custom color. I added a little bit more because I wanted it to be a little bit lighter, but I wanted to do a fun winter sign where I could do like a snowman sign, but I could do something really fun and wintry at the same time. So we're going all over with that custom blue color. Don't be afraid to mix your colors of paint. If you don't have the shade that you're looking for, you can probably get to it with what you have, just trying to remember like your color wheel and stuff like that. I am going to go ahead and try to paint those popsicle sticks that are kind of shining through as well, but just a nice sloppy coat all over. And I'm also going to go around the edges in case that you can see them. And this was kind of bowed. I did finally get it kind of straightened out after I worked with it enough and painting it and drying it and heating it. And I did finally get it to straighten out a little bit. So this is what we've got. I have this image that I got on Canva of a cute little snowman, and all I did was print that out on my printer. I'm not sure if I will be able to share it with you on Canva because I'm not sure. I will try. If I can't, I will share it as part of our Facebook group. And I always have the link for that below as well if you would like to print this out yourself. It's a really cute little snowman, and I love his little blue hat. I thought about doing the print and cut on my Cricut, but for some reason, like the sensor on my Cricut never can see the little lines around the edges that it needs to see to cut stuff out. And it's sometimes just easier to cut it out myself. So I just cut it out. The only thing that was tricky on that was cutting out the little arms because I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut it off. Then I'm also going to cut him in half because of the hole in the board. I don't want that like image to cover it. I want it to kind of be pieced together like that. And now we can just glue it down. I'm just using some matte Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree and gluing our snowman over here on one side. And they don't have a lot of winter stuff available at the Dollar Tree right now. So sometimes when you print your own stuff like this, you can do your own little custom take on winter DIYs. I'm going to be starting Valentine's Day soon, but in between Christmas and Valentine's Day, I definitely wanted to decorate my house for winter. So I just sealed over the top with one layer and dried that, but I'm also going to Mod Podge the entire sign just because I don't want it to be like a different finish over where the snowman is. I want it to be all the same finish all over. So I'm just sealing all of the paint and the image with another coat of Mod Podge. And That makes it look less like you just put glue like on one side of the sign. It just evens it all out. Now I'm going to try my best trying to find a white paint pen that works. I am really hard on white paint pens. I must use them way too much. I'm using a Sharpie one, and this is a water-based, and so it wasn't great. I need to get more of the oil-based ones. I get these at Target, and I like them, but this water-based one just did not, as you can see, it's working, but it kind of like when you dry it, it kind of fades. And so I do have to go over it with a couple of coats and really try to thicken those lines so that you can read that. If you're not confident in your handwriting, you could always use stickers from the Dollar Tree or your Cricut to make a stencil, or you could use Cricut vinyl for the letters. But mine is going to say not made for winter because that is me. Definitely not made for winter. And I'm just doing winter in like a kind of a cursive font. Not made for. I tried to do like a Ray Dunn font. It's pretty easy to do a Ray Dunn font. Sometimes it's easier to do that than to make a stencil in your Cricut. Now to decorate it some more, I'm going to use some of these glitter snowflake stickers from the Dollar Tree. I love these. I'm going to do one for like the little dot of winter. And then I'm just going to do like different sizes all over just to kind of make look like it is snowing on our little snowman sign. And this was just a fun sign. I wanted something fun for winter. And I saw the saying somewhere and I was like, oh yeah, that is totally me. I can't stand the cold, and it's actually cold in Florida right now. When I went out to work earlier, it was in the 40s and I was freezing, but I'm sure a lot of you are a lot more cold than we were here with our 30s here in Florida. But we don't like it. So now I'm using white and a chunky brush from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just distressing all over. I just wanted to give it that beachy vibe, and I like to distress that printable image a little bit to make it look a little bit, more hand painted. If I get too much on there, I just go over it with a baby wipe and kind of take off the distress. Trying not to take off the words, though, in the process. And I just kind of distress it, working in one direction until I am happy with it. And we have a nice beachy little winter sign. Now for a hanger on the back, it's a pretty lightweight sign, so I think twine's going to be fine. So I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree twine and hot glue, and we're just going to make a really easy rope hanger on the back that won't be visible for the front. And I think it's going to be plenty strong to hold up this sign because it's just the two thin boards. And there it is, our not made for winter sign. I think it's so cute. What do you think about this one? And here's how it turned out in my house. I think it's a nice beachy sign and a fun whimsical sign for winter.
It's definitely appropriate for me because I am not made for winter, which is why my family is in Florida. I think that snowman's really cute though. And it makes a nice large sign for winter when you need a little bit more decor. Okay, you've made it all the way to the final reveal for all 15 of our winter Dollar Tree DIYs today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know which one was your favorite, which DIY was your favorite down in the comments below. And don't forget to check out my second channel, Crafty Little Beach. Enjoy.
It's cold outside, it tingles in my heart. Breathing air that clears my mind, I'm all for a good start. I hear those jingle bells, people singing about love. It feels like I'm a kid, like I'm forever young. And that's why I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way. A reason to hang around and celebrate this day. Everyone's smiling and it's snowing. It's the time of year again. I'm happy you're here, my winter wonderland. I'm walking small talk with people that pass me by. I share a laugh, it gives me joy that everyone's having a good time. I hear those jingle bells, people singing about love. It feels like I'm a kid, like I'm forever young. And that's why I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way. A reason to hang around and celebrate this day. Everyone's smiling and it's snowing. It's the time of year again. I'm happy you're here, my winter wonderland. No, it's the time of year, winter wonderland. My winter wonderland. It's the time of year, my winter wonderland, my winter wonderland. I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way. A reason to hang around and celebrate this day. Everyone's smiling and it's snowing. It's the time of year again. I'm happy you're here, my winter wonderland. Oh, my winter wonderland. Oh, my winter wonderland. When everything is white, glimmering silver white, and stillness fills the night, it's Christmas, a winter wonderland, a snowball in each hand. Take me away, Christmas Day. There's joy in the air, families near. We give thanks for this past year. Oh, nothing compares to the love that we share. Oh, what a bliss. A green red delight with glimmering silver white. You dazzle us all from big to small. Warm laughter and white smiles, my presents stacked in piles. Take me away, Christmas Day. You dazzle us all from big to small. Warm laughter and white smiles, my presents stacked in piles. Take me away, Christmas Day. Take me away, Christmas Day. clears my mind. I'm all for a good start. I hear those jingle bells, people singing about love. It feels like I'm a kid, like I'm forever young. And that's why I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way. A reason to hang around and celebrate this day. Everyone's smiling.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my Crafty Beach YouTube members. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Maren Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, and Donna Tanner. I really appreciate each and every one of you so much. Every little bit helps here on YouTube. But if you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member too, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my YouTube videos. It's $4.99 a month, and you're free to cancel at any time. Okay, would you like more Dollar Tree DIYs? I've got you covered. Check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting!